and friends. Yeah. Cayce and Monica. Cayce and Monica.
Hello, everyone. This is Andale Homestead, and I'm Ann. I'm so glad that you're here.
Hello, everyone. This is Cayce over at Ormsby Farm in the Halfway Homestead.
And I'm Monica at Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We are super excited to be here tonight or today. And we are talking today in this episode about turkeys. We are going to tell you, we're going to teach Miss Ann what she needs to know in case she wants to raise her own homegrown turkeys for her Thanksgiving meal. We're going to talk to her about how to raise them, when's the best time to start raising your turkeys, how to raise them from the very beginning to the very end, right when it's just in time to put that turkey on your table. So stay tuned for this episode. You're not going to want to miss it because there's going to be a lot of information in this episode.
There is a lot of information. And one thing that we always talk about when there's a lot of information is we really love skill sharing on Hay Bale and Friends. And prepping to have a bunch of turkey in your freezer is really a huge plus for homesteading. Whether you use it for soups or you're just using it for ground turkey, it's great to have. This episode is brought to you by the Hay Bale Prepper Guide. While learning new skills here on the show, go over and head over to our Etsy store and download the 99-cent guide with receipt cards, product links, note pages, and more. This guide is another homestead must-have. So you can scan that QR code right there on the screen, right above our beautiful little faces, and it will take you over to our Linktree link. You'll click on Etsy, and then you'll be able to go ahead and download it. Again, it's 99 cents, so it's so worth it. Huh?
Absolutely. So, who is our guest tonight?
Who is it? Who is it?
Hello? Who is this?
It's Carmen's going to be with us a lot this season. You're going to see her pop up randomly throughout the entire season. But when we were talking about this episode, me and Monica were like, okay, who is another person that, like us, does have a good bit of knowledge on raising turkeys? And when in doubt, we're like, yeah, let's get Carmen to come back. So, Carmen, we're talking turkeys tonight. Is this, I know you're raising turkeys now. Is this the first time raising turkeys or have you done it before?
I started raising turkeys 2 years ago, maybe even longer. I don't even know. It's like, I prefer turkeys over chickens, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it might be longer than 2 years because we have some adult turkeys that we actually got from you. I think we have like 2 red bourbons left, or maybe 1. They're my son's favorite out of all his turkeys. And we know that it was from you because they're the only red bourbons left in our flock. And he just adores these girls. And he's like, they're the ones we got from Miss Carmen, but they're seasoned. So I want to say they're at least 2 years old. And I'm pretty sure you were already kind of experienced in that area when we got those turkeys from you. Now, are you raising turkeys anymore currently, or are you not? You're out of turkeys right now.
So right now we just got rid of our Tom. When I say got rid of, he was flying in fashion. Somebody came 3 hours away to come get him, and they flew him in a private jet.
Excuse
to
me.
their ranch. Yes.
Living that life, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I drove to the airport to bring this turkey to these people. So the only reason we're not at the moment is because we thought we were going to move. So we were preparing for that, but it looks like we're not doing that right now. So right now I told my husband, I was like, let's get the fence and everything readjusted to how we want it. And I'm getting turkeys again. They were my favorite to raise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love turkeys. Like, I had Monica's son Simeon come one time when they came out to Georgia to see the Ormsby Farms. We did a video on how to tell the different sexes between the turkeys. And I really enjoyed turkeys. Now, I got rid of turkeys because I moved. And so, like Carmen was saying, when you're moving, it's a lot of planning, and getting rid of animals is a lot of work. So I got rid of my babies. I had a Tom and 3 girls, and they are the cutest, sweetest animals. They're not very bright. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. They're not very bright, but like they wake up in the morning and they're like, I wonder how I could unlive myself today. Yeah, and they do that daily. But I think they are sweeter and more loving than chickens, especially the Tom roosters. Now, I did have one Tom. His name was Big Daddy. He didn't like any men. He was a ladies' man. When I tell you he was a ladies' man, he liked the turkey girls, and he liked Sis Tara and my mom. Nobody else. He didn't want to see any men. He's like, don't bring no men in my house.
So friendly too. Like when I first got into chickens, I feel like I was lied to. Like you see all these pictures of people cuddling all over their chickens, and doing all these things. My chickens were like, don't even look at me. Feed me. That's all I care. Feed me. Like my kids would have to chase them for them to love them. The turkeys, I would have all 3 or however many I had at the time. They'd be following me. As soon as I go to where their areas, they would follow me in a whole little thing. And I'm just like, guys, calm down.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Love it. I think you and Worth would enjoy turkeys.
We'd probably never be able to harvest them because that would be our pets.
I'll tell you, I enjoy turkey eggs over chicken eggs. I don't know if Carmen and Monica want to jump in on that. I prefer turkey eggs for baking because the turkey eggs are creamier. So you can keep them really just for egg laying to have.
I mean, you could, but they don't lay eggs all year. So the idea to have turkeys all year long, to feed them all year long when they're not laying eggs all year long, like ducks will lay eggs longer cycles, and they're going to be a better opportunity for you when you're looking for something that's a creamier egg, that's something better for baking. I don't eat my turkey eggs, not unless my kids are like begging me for eggs. My personal preference is to hatch them out and then to add them back to my flock, because so many of them, bless their sweet little dumb hearts, I could hatch out and have 24 of them. They could come out and they're like, welcome to the world. Hey, they're so excited. They are so happy. And then by the end of the week, I'm down to 18. And then 3 days later, I'm down to 12. And then by the end of that first month, I mean, I'm 30 days in and I got like 6, because they will do whatever they can to unalive themselves. They literally will. They wake up in the morning and they're like, how can I go to turkey heaven today?
I will confess, I have never actually eaten one of my turkeys ever. Never. That is a huge confession. I know. I have eaten other people's turkeys.
Me too.
I've never even, and this is why. I had heritage turkeys, bourbon red turkeys. They are not necessarily rare, but in my area, they're hard to find. So I became this bourbon red dealer. Okay. So I would hatch all these eggs out with the incubator, of course, because first of all, I will say, if you're looking for your turkey ladies to hatch their eggs, that's not going to happen. It's going to be a waste of time. So I tried many times. I've given them many times, and they've sat for 14 days and then ditched their babies. And they're like, they're not hatching. I'm leaving.
They're literally so deadbeat mamas. Like they roll out. They're like, you know what? I'm hungry. 14 days is it. It's been 2 weeks. They don't have 28 days in them. They don't.
It's so true. Like my chickens would hatch their eggs all the time. My ducks, my Muscovy ducks, they were the best at hatching all the eggs. But so I would hatch them with the incubator. I'd have like 24 or whatever, like I said. And I'm talking as soon as they hatched, day 3, I would have a waiting list of people coming to my house, grabbing the turkeys. So it was a big deal for me. I never got to eat them. I was like, first of all, I love my breeders. Like they were the sweetest little things ever. They were producing eggs for me. They were kind to my chickens and my ducks. Most people will say don't have them together because there is like this illness. I forget what it's called, black something. What do you know, Monica?
Yeah, it's like black leg or something. It's like with the cows. Like they tell them, they're like, don't get it. It's really bad. It's gonna kill them. And no, yeah.
Okay, so I had all mine together. Thank you, Lord, that everybody was good. Nothing ever happened. But they would just be out of my house. I'd incubate them. They'd be out. Incubate them. And so I never got to eat them. But I loved that. I was making a little side money while also allowing people to enjoy the heritage breed. I mean, when you go to Tractor Supply, you can kind of get heritage every now and again, but normally you're getting a broad-breasted white meat turkey. Just like you would get a Cornish, you would go for the white Cornish. They're not heritage, they were bred for meat. So they get bigger, faster. The heritage breed, they get big, but not as fast. And they don't get as big as the broad-breasted. So the food that you're getting on Thanksgiving, that turkey, if you're not raising it yourself, normally you're getting a broad-breasted white turkey. Nothing wrong with that. I've eaten it my whole life. But as for my little farm, I wanted something that I knew, I don't know, I could keep alive, because the broad-breasted also, once they hit about 4 months, you've got to process them. They can get things called green muscle disease. They can grow too big, too fast. They can break their legs. I mean, it is a whole thing because they get big so fast. You've got to harvest them. They cannot be a pet unless you have them on like some super diet.
Can I say something real quick? Because I'm going to jump on my soapbox. I am going to be Cayce right now. I'm going to jump on my soapbox real quick. Let me just tell you, if you go to Tractor Supply, I still love you. Okay. Everybody out there listening, and you're like, I'm going to go to Tractor Supply. I'm going to go get my turkeys. I love you. And I want to tell you out of love, you are not going to get these beautiful heritage breed birds majority of the time, like Carmen said. But these people at this store also do not know what they're giving you. And they will sell you whatever they have in stock. And what they have in stock is going to get fat very fast, and it is not going to live. I have a friend of mine, a lady that my kids worked for, and bless her sweetheart, she said, oh, I have some turkeys, but they're so big and they're so cute. She had 3 gorgeous, beautiful white Toms. And let me just tell you, I said, where did you get these from? She said, Tractor Supply. I said, how old are they? They were like 4 months old, and they were bigger than any turkeys I had ever seen in my life. I have year-and-a-half-old turkeys out here. Okay. We butcher. I'm sorry. Let me re-say that. We process our turkeys. We process our turkeys at about 9 to 10 months old, because it takes that long, and sometimes even longer, because we go outside and we go, we want turkey for dinner tonight. Let's take that one. You can't, these little boys she had, they were basically sitting around walking slowly. And I told her, I said, hey, look, I don't know if you're here yet, but these ones right here that you've got, they're not going to last long. She said, no, they're my sweet babies. I said, no, these sweet babies, you're going to come out here one morning and they're going to be sitting there and they're not going to get up. She's like, really? I said, I'm telling you right now. Well, do you know, within 2 weeks after I told her that, she came out one morning and one of her sweet little baby boys were sitting down. It would not get up and walk. He was stuck in the position where he had been the night before. He could not breathe. He could not walk. And he basically suffocated to death the next day because he was so fat. All he did was eat, and he was a commercial breed, but no one told her that. So when you go to Tractor Supply and you buy these animals, please ask what you're getting. And if you can't find a good heritage breed, go online and look for some.
And that's why it's so important to, find the YouTubers that you like, that have knowledge, the podcasts, like our podcast, where we're talking about the difference between those. We've talked a lot about, Carmen mentioned the Cornish cross. We've talked about the differences between the Cornish cross and like an American breast, or different. The Cornish cross and the white-breasted turkey are raised for just that. They're raised for quick, fast, get them in, get them fat, get them out. That's what the companies want you to do. In my flock, when I had one boy, red bourbon. Monica, I think you were the one that told me that he was a red bourbon when you came out. I had a couple Spanish and I had a couple blue slate. Those were the ones that I had. I raised mine specifically for meat, for Thanksgiving meat. I had 38 that I hatched out, and I was raising them for meat. They got nowhere near the size that you see in the grocery store. Were they amazing meat? I had so many emails from the people that bought these turkeys. Like, I've never had turkey meat like this. But my biggest boy that we processed was 10 pounds. And that was whole. That was done up, ready to go, frozen.
Okay.
10 pounds was all that he was.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm getting like an alien static noise as I'm sitting here recording. So maybe it's the ghost of Thanksgiving past.
Could be.
That that all of my turkeys are coming back.
Turkeys are coming and squawking.
Yes. But heritage breeds, as Monica says, do your research. Make sure you know what you're getting. Because I'll tell you, on my soapbox, I don't trust if they're going in and it's like, oh, it's a pullet. We'll see. I'll see you in about 5-6 weeks, and I'll know for sure, because I don't put it past me. I'll bring roosters in by the foot back to Tractor Supply and be like, here's your pullets.
Okay.
Your $9 pullets back. So know what you're getting. The best thing to get, especially with turkeys, is someone in your area. Like Carmen said, how she literally hatched out, sold. If you can find someone that you trust, that you know has a good breed, and before you buy, go to their homestead and just look at their turkeys. Look how they're raised. Look how they look, how they act. Because like parent, like child. So if you go to somebody's homestead and the tom is really, really aggressive, they're probably going to produce aggressive toms and hens. That's just kind of how it is. If you got a sweet little boy now, there is some weird ones, but there may be other than that. But look at the turkeys, see how they act, and then decide where you want to buy from. That's my soapbox.
Also, good to know that the broad-breasted, they're sterile. You can't just, put their eggs in the incubator. There are no eggs. And if there are eggs, I mean, they've been alive for way too long by some miracle. But the heritage birds, that was a big thing for me. It's like, if I want to take hold of the food at my household, which it never became food, but if I want to take hold of that, I want to know that my birds can have babies and I can, just incubate them and process them. That's how I am with my chickens too. So same thing happened to my sister. She had got turkeys from Tractor Supply. They were her babies, sweetest turkeys ever. She literally named them. They would come to her. And we had to tell her, I was like, they're not going to live long. And they were already to the point where they were going so slow. And they will eat nonstop. Like, they don't know how to not eat. So we ended up processing them. And one of them had green muscle disease, which they were just so big. And the meat was literally green on their arms and stuff, or on their wings, I guess, and stuff. It was so sad. So heritage breed, I'm huge on that. But if you want bigger turkeys, then the broad-breasted white ones are for you, but you just have to make sure you have the funds to feed them and you are watching processing dates. Because if you are not watching processing dates, all of that work for just sad, pitiful birds outside, and make sure you have the equipment to process them. They are big birds. I mean, you need a humongous pot to put them in, the process. Big animals require a lot of work with processing. We had to learn that too. We're like, well, we can't use the same thing I'm processing my chickens with. Because we have processed turkeys in the past, but they were not ours.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. If you need to have big equipment, don't wait till last minute when it's time and you're like, oh no. Big bags. So like the way we put ours in the freezer is we put them in these seal bags.
Mm-hmm.
You can either vacuum seal them or you can use the bags that you put them in and then put them in the boiling water, zip tie it, and put it in the freezer. You need big bags for turkey.
Big bags for big boys. And
Yeah.
literally jump on the soapbox again from Carmen on wanting your animals to be able to produce eggs. When we talk about it, and this is my soapbox that Monica was talking about, because it just gets right underneath my skin like that. As homesteaders, we talk about that we want to be as self-sufficient as possible. Okay? So we learn how to grow a tomato plant, how to save the seeds from that tomato plant so that we can then grow that tomato plant again.
Yeah.
If you do the same for your chickens and your meat, if you're getting the Cornish cross and the broad-breasted, which again, nobody is saying shame, shame. If that's what you do you, girl.
Yeah.
But you are having to pay somebody else. You are relying on somebody else because I still think it's very, very rare that you can get an egg. I know some people are going to say in the comment, I got an egg from a Cornish cross. Well, okay, but it's not usually how it works. You want an animal, and we all know it takes a boy and a girl to produce another life.
Yep.
So if you have a rooster and you have a hen, you will have chicken meat till eternity.
Yeah. Okay, so when these babies are born, when you get the eggs and you incubate them,
28
Carmen,
days. 28 days. It's longer than a chicken. And it's about the same as a duck. So you get 28 days to incubate.
and then they're itty bitty babies. Do you keep them in like their own special little place like you do with baby chickens?
I do. I have seen both sides. If you want to, I guess you can't insure, like Monica says. I mean, they are such fragile little beings. Like, seriously, I've never seen, you could be doing all the right things. And it's one's just like, oh,
Yeah.
what happened? So, but I have had better results having them in a nice brooder with the wood chips or whatever you want as the medium for them to walk on, giving them water. I have had the best luck with putting them with chicks. The chicks will show them all the things. And if they get off track, the chicks will bring them back on track. I mean, I've had the best, like, with that way. I've also had my ducks raise them. Sounds crazy. But Muscovy ducks, I will literally die on that hill. Like, they are the best duck ever. Like, ever. They hatch the eggs. They will try their best to take care of all the things that they have. And I've actually had one turkey from the Muscovy duck survive happily. And it got to the point where it was thinking it was a duck. And had to kind of like get it in with the other turkeys a little bit more to kind of figure life out.
Yeah.
But a brooder is perfect. Make sure they have clean water, clean bedding. I always put puppy pads underneath my bedding. So all I have to do is lift the pad out, throw it, and then put a new pad, put more bedding on top. It's always worked for me. I did have one instance where the turkeys, they get their wings really fast. Like, I mean, they get huge fast when they're little beings. So I had one try to fly on the brooder, and I had a Tractor Supply water, and it had the little wire to like lift. The turkey got caught in that somehow. Its little foot was like, it was hanging. Its little foot was in the wire hanging, and I heard it all night. And you know how you're so tired and you just don't care?
No.
So like, I'm hearing it, and eventually my husband's like, you need to go figure out what's going on over there. I go in there, and it's just hanging there. So so thankfully it stayed alive, but you've really got to, like, not everyone has their brooder in their house or in their garage. Okay. That's just the reality. So if you have it in the shed or outside or something like that, check at least once at nighttime, at least once, to make sure things are in order. Because if you really spend all this time on these animals, I mean, what's one check at night, a few during the day? just to ensure that everything's going well. But if things don't go well, it happens, especially with turkeys. I mean, it is just what it is. Worst case, keep hatching.
Okay. And you said that they eat like all the time. Now, in our chickens, like we have food out in a food container all day long. Do you do the same with turkeys, or do you have like a time where you feed them and then you take the food away, or you
I
leave
used to
food all
have
the time?
I used to have a 50 gallon type situation full of free food. Everybody did okay. The heritage turkeys eat way less than the broad breasted, but they still eat a lot. I mean, it is what it is. But what's so funny is I ended up stopped doing the 50 gallon, not even because of the eating. It's just for some reason last year was like mouse and rat season. Like, never had an issue with rodents ever. And for some reason I had an issue. So we were like, you know what? Every morning we just go out and we put our scoops of feed out there, let them eat what they eat, and then we'll just do it again. I mean, that's been the for us. I do miss being able to fill that thing up and let them do their thing, but I don't want to risk feeding the neighborhood's rats. Like, I just don't do that.
Ew.
Well, my dogs like to eat my turkey and chicken feed, so we throw like 3 scoops of we do turkey crumbles because that's a 28% protein, so it's a high protein because they do grow and you want to give them a good protein. The problem is that I also have chickens and ducks out there with them. They all live their best life together, and so I'm throwing a big scoop of the big 28% protein crumbles, and then I'm choosing to throw out some lay pellets as well as some scratch, and I kind of all mix it together. And so I've got these 3 or 4 scoops of mixed stuff, and then they all come in and enjoy. And I know Carmen makes her own feed, but depending on what you're feeding them, a lot of times they come in and eat together, and mine just eat together. But if I would put something out in like bowls, I have to throw mine out. And because if I put it in bowls or it's in a teeny tiny pile, oh, my puppy thinks that's the best meal ever. He'll come off of that with turkey crumbles on his muzzle and his nose, like, thanks, Monica. So I'd rather not feed my dogs the expensive turkey food.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep my turkeys separate from chickens when they were eating. Now, they were kind of all together in the area.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that my hens were big old bullies to the chickens on eating. They were like, hey, you're too fat. This is mine. And all the chickens would be like, okay. And away. And my first year of doing chickens and turkeys, I was that bougie one that read on Instagram that they all were supposed to have different percentages and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then as I started becoming more of a
realist
homesteader, I was like, nah, bro, y'all all getting the same. I'm not buying $50 here, $50 there. Y'all are getting the same. And my meat ones, because I had meat chickens, I had meat turkeys, I had my breeder turkeys, breeder chickens. My meat ones would get a little bit of corn. Y'all get a little bit of corn and raw milk. You know, fatten them up that way. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did separate them because I did want them kind of eating, but I only fed once a day. So I wish I could have done that 50-gallon bucket. But Georgia, we're the same way. Rats.
Oof.
And that's a great point. The hens, I actually did see a little bit of that with the hens kind of bullying. And then after they were done eating, they kind of walked off and then the chickens would come. But that's a great point because I had 2 hens that were like that. They thought they were like queen of the coop. So, and that brings another good point. Monica, Cayce, did your turkeys live in the same coop as the chickens? Like, how did you house them?
Cayce, I know yours were separate, right?
Well, I was very blessed when I bought the homestead where I was to have a coop that was already separated. So I had a 30 by 60 foot coop that was already built, and it was in 4 different area pens. So my turkeys, even though they were the main coop, they were all together, but I kept them separate. And then when they went out to free range, quote unquote, they had in between. Only because I noticed that the head honcho of my chicken girls and my head honcho of my turkey girls thought they were like gangsters in Chicago and wanted to throw. When I say throw down, I was breaking up
Oh
girl fights daily.
Uh-oh. That's
So
bad.
I got mine separate. Monica, did you? Yours are
Mine stay together, hang out all day long. In the evening, I put my turkeys into a separate coop most of the time. However, when I'm growing out teenagers and they go from the smaller areas to like a bigger space, I put the teenagers into the turkey run, which is my A-frame chicken coop, basically, that I move. It's a chicken tractor. I put my teenagers in there and my smaller ones in there during the evening, and during the day, they'll stay there and we move it. They stay there for the whole juvenile life until they can integrate with the big ones. And when that's happening, my big ones get thrown into the chicken coop with the chickens, and the
Oh,
chickens get over it. And then we put everybody back in the turkey coop when the little ones get integrated, because I don't have enough runs to separate everybody all the time. And when my teenagers need to be out in the open and start to integrate, that's how I do it. So my adult turkeys kind of get pushed around because they go wherever I put them at night. But
okay.
they hang out all day long with all they have an all thing. And if you can't get along in my house, then you usually end up in the freezer. So I
Okay,
mean,
so we have turkeys, a boy and a girl turkey make an egg, and the egg gets usually taken away because the mama turkeys don't birth them very well.
yeah,
You
they're
put them
not
in an
good.
incubator, and 28 days later, you have a fluffy little flu.
Yep.
Then usually they stay teenagers for how long? And then they turn into adults when? And about when do you think is a potential processing or harvesting time? How long would it take them to grow out?
that was a lot of questions.
Well, I mean, like how long are they
What's the
teenagers?
general
What's the
lifespan when you're talking
general
from
lifespan?
if Miss Ann wants to start one right now, when could she harvest her first turkey? If let's just say she has a baby flu right now, baby's
Okay.
hatched out today in her hand.
So a heritage breed, most likely, it'd be like 7 to 10 months.
Okay.
Ideally, if you're feeding it right. The broad-breasted would be more like 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and as far as like adults, I guess I don't pay much attention, but I just start looking like, oh yeah, it's been that long. Like you can just tell they're just more full and more mature.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, a teenage boy when you start seeing the facial hair and he starts
Gotcha.
to like, be a man and you're like, oh my gosh, you're a man now. Like what is
No,
going on? Like so that's
right.
how I
right.
look at turkeys. Also, I have an open hut, like an open coop method for my turkeys. My turkeys were not going in no coop. They would not. But they would go in my little hut that had like, I want to say it was like the door was maybe 4 foot by 3 foot or something. They just go in there when it rained sometimes. But otherwise, they would literally be out there doing whatever they wanted. And I will say, I have never had a predator like going after my turkey except for dogs. Dogs were the only ones I had to deal with. Like
Mhm.
and dogs are the worst because they don't want to eat them. They just want to rip them apart and be done and just
Make
go,
them
go away.
squeak.
We've
They
had
want them squeak.
coyotes come get ours.
Dogs, coyotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coyotes. Yep.
Yeah.
We had some that attacked our chicken coop,
Yeah.
and they just thought they were squeaker toys, really. They
Yeah.
wanted to get the squeaker out of them.
Yeah, dogs are the worst when it comes to that, especially wild dogs. Coyotes are the worst. They have come and grabbed them. Ours will sometimes they'll escape from Simeon and Ezekiel, who put them away at night. And like right now, they're out there putting the turkeys away. And if they can't get everybody where they need to be, then they'll roost on top of my feed shed or they'll roost up in the tree. But the problem that I have with my turkeys is they like to come down from their roost at dusk. I mean, at dawn, right at dawn, right when it's the sun's starting to come up, but almost before that time. But that's also when the owls are still out, as well as the coyotes. My coyotes around here will prowl between 5 and 7 a.m.
Ooh.
And that's when they come and grab my turkeys. So we have lost turkeys. We lost, I think, 4 to 5 adult turkeys this year,
Oh, no.
because of coyotes. So we've been, setting traps and doing things. But needless to say, we have seen them on camera. We know that they're a problem, but we can do what we can. That's it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I like to just think, I'm like, this is a terrible situation. Nothing I can do. But you know what? I fed a coyote. It is what it is. It's nature. It happens. It's life. And you have to go about the homestead life in general that way. Things happen. Don't be discouraged. Don't try to give up. If this is the life you want, this is the life you want, and you're going to have to endure trials. That's with life in general. So don't be discouraged if you start this and you have these great goals in mind and these things. Things just happen.
That's right.
Especially with turkeys.
Exactly.
Especially with turkeys.
Yeah.
But I wanted to answer the question too on that I noticed when they have gotten old to adulthood is when they are able to lay eggs for the hens. That's when I kind of know they've gotten out of the teenager stage. I did my meat turkeys at 24 weeks. So
Okay.
that's why, and I had heritage. So that was kind of when I knew it was time for them to meet Jesus and feed people. And that's what
There
I
you
did.
go.
That was right before the eggs. They say about 26 weeks for turkeys is when they start laying the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds
And you can
good.
usually tell with the boys will start to get that beard, that big black piece that kind of comes out. And you have the Jakes, which are the kind of the younger guys. And then you have the Toms. And when they're Toms and when they're officially Toms, they're the big dudes, their beards will get a little longer and they look more established,
Oh,
like they're guys growing a beard. So you'll notice then too, that's for the guys. But
That's partly why I like the bourbon red too. Is like if you want that turkey you see on the cartoons and
classic.
those big fluffy things they put as centerpieces that
Yep.
look like turkeys, the bourbon reds. I mean, they look
Mhm.
like that.
They really do. Oh my gosh, look, we are past our time and we have had such a good time talking to you, Carmen. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be able to chat about turkeys because it's the season for that. Next week will be our Thanksgiving episode. So we're going to still be talking a little bit about turkeys, but we're going to be talking about how to brine the turkeys, some of the favorite ways we cook turkeys, and even some last minute side ideas. So don't forget to come back and join us next week. And I believe Carmen will be back again next week to talk about turkeys again and about all the Thanksgiving things. So stay tuned each week. Check us out. Don't forget to come back and check us out on Hey Belle and Friends and see who's here and all the things we're going to talk about. Thank you again, Carmen, so much for coming in. We love having you here.
No problem.
We love you being here, and you're such a wealth of information. So also don't forget to come check us out tomorrow because we're going to be on our live show over on YouTube right here. We're going to be talking about turkeys and giving you more information, maybe things that we missed out on talking about today. So we'll see you again tomorrow, and then we'll see you next week. Until then, bye, y'all. Bye.
Hey, Belle and friends, and Cayce and Monica.